And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the head librarian of Book Club, Michael Smerconish, and our special guest, Mr. Jim Abbott.
I just said that that's something I've always wanted to do, which you had the opportunity to do many times.
It's a beautiful ballpark. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It means a lot. I'm really touched.
Jim Abbott, welcome to Book Club. It's a great thrill, and you should feel heartened to know that there was a tremendous demand. We had to limit the number of folks to 1,000, and that took a little bit of arm bending because initially we were at 500 and then we were at 800, and I'm convinced we could have filled the place if we'd had the opportunity, and I think that's a real tribute to you.
Well, thank you, Michael. Like I said, I'm so touched that so many people would come out, and I'm sure a lot of it is a tribute to you, but I'm so touched that so many people have connected with the book and are excited about the book, and we get a chance to talk about it, and to come to places that are so far from my home and a place where I never even played, it means a lot to me, so thank you very much.
There's a vignette early in the book. You're at Elaine's on the Upper East Side, a famous watering hole, and someone approaches you, the bartender as a matter of fact, and he has a Pete Gray baseball. Everyone who knows you knows you're so affable and accommodating, but you hesitated in this case from signing. How come?
Well, when I was with a couple buddies of mine, and we were talking about baseball, and all of a sudden there was a bartender, great guy, he came up with this baseball, and he said, I'd like you to sign this. On the other side of it is Pete Gray. And obviously, for people who don't know Pete Gray played during the World War II era. He was missing an arm, and he was famous and a great player. But I was uncomfortable signing a ball that was, the intent was just the association of two guys who may be seen for a label. And that was something I tried to move past my whole life, was the label. I didn't want to be known as the one-handed pitcher or the one-armed pitcher. And the idea of a ball being out there with just that intent struck me as wrong. And I didn't know really if I had the right to assume that Pete Gray would want that either.
It's clear from the book that your parents were a great source of inspiration and remain a great source of inspiration. Talk to us about your father's why not philosophy.
Well, my dad was a character. He had a tendency to take a left when he should have gone right. But, you know, my parents are my heroes. They had me at a very early age, and there was a lot of uncertainty in their life, and me coming along caused them to take a real hard look at where their life would go, and they sacrificed a lot for me. And the fact that I was born missing my right hand added even more tumultuousness to an uncertain time. And what I love about my parents is that at some point they just decided that the focus should be on what I was given and not what was taken away. And so from then on, my dad was always about why not? Why not? Let's try it. As long as your grades are good, I don't care what you do. You can play baseball, you could play football, you could play anything you want. As long as your grades are good, let's give it a try. And that optimism, that belief that there's a way to do things forever influenced my life.
By your freshman year, you were no longer using an artificial limb. That was your choice, not that of your parents. What was your thought process?
Well, when I was a kid, and first growing up, my parents tried to find ways to help me to get through life. They tried to find ways that I could do things in a classroom or the different environments that I would be in. And one of those solutions that they found was this metal prosthesis, which was shaped as a hook. And I spent some time in a rehab hospital as a kid trying to figure out how to use that, being fitted for it. I came home, and it was a great device and a great tool. But it didn't help me to do the things that I love to do. It didn't help me to play baseball. It didn't help me to play football. And it didn't help me to blend in very much. And so ultimately I gave it up. I think there's a story in the book about seeing that metal prosthesis sitting on the closet one day and just kind of realizing that I haven't worn it for a long time. And it's sort of sad to me because although I never really liked that prosthesis very much, it was a symbol to me of my parents' hopefulness in their effort to try to teach me, that anything's possible.
You describe in the book how your father taught you with a Dusty Baker model of a baseball glove how you'd be able to play, how you'd be able to pitch. Explain that to us.
Well, my dad had that why-not attitude. One day he said, we're going to learn to play baseball. We're going to go play catch. And so he went down to the local drugstore and he bought me this really stiff Dusty Baker model plastic, almost baseball glove. And we had to figure out how it was that I could play catch. I had to learn to throw and catch with my left hand. And so we went out in the front yard and tried to figure it out. And I still can't describe it very well to this day. It's just sort of something that evolved naturally. So I brought my glove with me. If you wouldn't mind playing a little catch, Michael?
Jim, at Holly Kong Junior High School, I was 6'4" and 1 in my 9th grade year.
And 1?
We had a tie. Okay, because we won't be near microphones when we do this, I'll take the side at the backstop in case I drop it, but explain what we are about to do.
All right, so what I had to learn to do was throw and catch with my same hand. So I would catch the ball like this, rotate the glove towards my body, cradle it with my right arm, let the ball fall out, throw it, and then put it back on. I was much faster without a wedding ring and a sport coat, I promise you. Sure.
Oh, I love book club.